If people doubt you, hunch your shoulders, oh well. Just stay focused, cause you know you got help from the man up above who never fails. Just pop your collar and then you yell.
If you're saying God can't win today, if you're saying God can't make a way.
Good evening and welcome to the Nobody Actually Got Show. Guys, I'm your host, Melvin Casey Large, and as always, you know how we do it. We don't waste your time with cookie cutter questions. We don't waste your time talking about other people and gossip because, as we all know, it's just a waste of time. So tonight, guys, as always, we have a special treat for you. We have none other than Mr. Antonio Brown. And yes, he's more important than the guy that catches the football. Why is he more important than the guy that catches the football? Because he helps to change lives. Mr. Brown is not only a barber, he's going to talk to us about that this evening. He has a literacy program that he works with young men when they come in to get their due sharpened up and shapen up and that kind of thing, guys. So we want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy Brother Antonio Brown. Mr. Brown, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Large, for having me.
Well, listen, it's our pleasure, man. And as I was saying to you earlier, it does an old man's soul good when I see young men that step up to the plate and mentor these younger men. I can speak personally to that. I was blessed to have some good mentors and people to show me the positive way to move about. Not that I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination, my brother, but we just glad that you're here. And again, I want our audience to know that yes, you are a barber and you do push literacy and that kind of thing. So if you will, if you'll tell our audience a little bit about Mr. Antonio Brown and how you got started.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me again. I'm honored to be here tonight. I am from originally St. Petersburg, Florida, born and raised in St. Petersburg. And, growing up here in St. Pete, what I realized was that, some of the things were being overlooked, some of the important aspects of the community. I was in several different schools coming up and realized that education was really important for us, and it was very, I would say, more important than I realized, right? At times, I was a knucklehead growing up. We was all knuckleheads. We made some bad decisions, some bad choices. I am a person that, has a history, right? A past as well as a future. But I did not allow my past to stop me or my trajectory in life or the way that I wanted to see myself in it, right? The picture I wanted to paint for myself. Basically, after high school, I decided I wanted to go into technical college. I did a little bit of the community college prior to the technical college, but I found myself being more attracted to hands-on work after I got out of high school. So I decided to go and do some plumbing, right? I went to plumbing school and became a plumber prior to becoming a barber. Decided, I didn't want to work in the hot sun that much. That wasn't for me. So I decided, to go inside and get my barbering license and decided to, work in that industry.
Well, Brother Brown, I'll tell you, that's certainly interesting because allow me to just share with you, brother. I think at some point we were all knuckleheads, and at some point we probably made decisions even now that we say, wow, probably shouldn't have done that,
Right.
or something of that nature, man. And allow me again to say to you respectfully is that, life comes at us like the speed of light. And sometimes we get caught up in that light and life happens.
It does.
So
It does.
to that end, my brother, even through that, even through the life coming at you and that kind of thing, you sit here today as an entrepreneur, as a man that is providing direction, not only for yourself, but for other young men through literacy.
Yes.
And as an old teacher, coach, professional ball player for a second, that principle, that kind of thing, you exemplify the young brothers, and I do say that proudly, that many of us live to hear speak again. Why do I say that? Because of what you've already said. Hey, sometimes we don't always follow the straight and narrow. Sometimes we make bad decisions. Sometimes we make selfish decisions. So, with that stated, you said earlier about you understood that hey, maybe I should have we maybe should get a little more learning here. What inspired you to decide on the literacy program as a barber?
So when it comes to my inspiration as a barber and what inspired me to do this program was the fact that I went to 6 different other barbershops prior to opening my own, right? And at this particular point, when I was, a barber journeyman, I would say, I was just figuring out my particular way of actually foresight, which is actually owning my own shop and how I would actually run that particular shop when I did get my own, right? So what I did was I jumped around from different shops, and I did that to also not to jump around, but to build clientele, right? Because I was new in the industry and I wanted to get my name out there. So by going to 6 different shops and other shops around the county, I grew my clientele up a little bit. And in the process realized that, barbers have a bigger influence than I imagined, right? And what it started to do is to get me to thinking about, my childhood more so than anything. Being that even though I don't have any hair today, right? When I was younger, I had a hair full of hair and I was always at the barbershop, right? Because I actually had a barber who actually had a shop right across the street from my house. So I actually would go there every weekend to get a trim or to get an edge or a shape up, right? And in that, I would see these men coming in the shop and they would, bless us with what their lives was like, right? What they was going through, what they were, experiencing at home, and what they're experiencing at the job, what they're experiencing through friendships and different relationships. And we learned about those different aspects as young boys growing up. And what I decided I wanted to do was not only teach the young boys about, having those types of conversations, but, in the process of me looking back to my childhood, I realized that, something's missing, right? And something's missing in our community. Something was missing when I was growing up. And when I did my research, right? Because I did some research about the literacy numbers and the grade level reading proficiency of Black and brown boys in our community, and it was less than 27%, right? That's when I realized that was an alarm to me and to my spirit, right? So that led me into actually championing literacy in my barbershop, which led me to having young Black and brown boys come into my barbershop and read to me, or I read to them while they get a haircut. Now, in the process of that, right, that works in a couple different ways, right? Some kids are resistant to that, right? And you have some kids that are more conducive to that, right? And they will, sometimes you have children that you have to first build a rapport with, right? You have to build that trust with these children. You have to build
Yes.
you have to build some type of, rapport with them to help to move along that, process of offering that book to that child, adopting the reading is cool, right? Because that's one of our mottos, that we're trying to make reading cool again, but we're also not just trying to raise competitive athletes, but competitive readers, right? Competitive young men and women in school and in the education system, right? In the classroom, we're trying to teach them to be competitive in the classroom as well. So the thing is the mentorship piece came with that, from the aspect of basically that rapport building, right? That trust building and things like that, because I was also a coach for Little League football teams and different things like that. prior to opening a shop and being a part of a shop. But you know, being a young Black boy myself, again, being in barbershops, understanding the influence and the power that Black men have over young Black boys was a key component to why I started the literacy program, because a lot of these young boys looked at me as being a cool barber, right? But also being a barber that was about his business, right? They saw that I was an entrepreneur. They saw that I was disciplined enough to have my own shop for going on 10 years. They saw that I was disciplined enough to keep the books in the shop, right? And to help them build home libraries. So our goal is to not only to help mentor these children, but to help them build home libraries. Because what we also did is found that 90% of the homes in the Black community don't have any books that are their children's age with name, image, and likeness in these books, right? And that's one of the pieces to our program. We created a book list that really just focuses on children that look like the children that we serve in our community, right? But there's a lot of layers to this program. You also have the financial literacy program, where the parents don't have to pay for a haircut, right? The parents normally would pay me for a haircut, and then, you know, that would be the service rendered for the child haircut. However, what I decided to do was create a financial literacy program that allows the parents to take the funds they would normally give to me for the haircut and open a bank account and use those funds to grow the child's bank account, but also teach them how to save money, how to budget, right? And the process of and the purpose of, right, why you're doing this, right? Why you're saving this money. What is the end goal, right? What are we looking to do with this money after you graduate? Because children start my program from the age of 1, right? And can start the program from age of 1 all the way till they graduate high school, till they turn 18 years old. So when they graduate, they can take those funds, possibly use that for a down payment on a home or a car, or, you know, pay for schooling, you know, anything that they need to use it for, just for reading to me throughout the years of coming to my shop and being a part of our program, the Competitive Readers Coalition, also formerly known as the Barbershop Book Club, right? So right now we're trying to, again, partner with other barbershops, right? In our area, as well as in the state of Florida, right? And across the country, right? We want to partner with as many like-minded barbers as we can to help get our, you know, Black and brown boys to a level of reading where they can suffice and survive out here and live successful lives.
Wow. Brother Brown, that is fantastic. You are certainly a visionary. And as you share that, hopefully, and one thing I did not share with you is I have a lot of young people, and these guys are all over 18, and some young ladies as well. And I love for them to hear individuals other than old men like me, because I am an old guy. And most of the time, they expect us to say what we say because we're old. but when they can see someone that's much closer to their age, to hear the things that you share, to hear the verbiage and that kind of thing. And please allow me to say, as you were talking about the individual growth in those persons, you certainly can see life through a different set of eyes when you have a different understanding, and that is phenomenal. And sadly, as you know, even people talk about it all the time when we talk about research. Some research will say by the 2nd grade, most of them say by the 3rd grade, and that is how they started to, again, decide how many prisons they're going to need within the next 10 or 15 years, etc. So the things that you are doing, my brother, is certainly a phenomenon, to say the least, because, and I'll just use this quickly because we don't do negative things and talk about people. However, sadly, we have those individuals that would rather do something other than inspire, and create growth. So let me say that again now. As you partner with the other brothers and sisters, I'm sure across your area, and I'd like you to get again too, even though I sit in the background, if you tell us a little bit about the coalition and how it works, etc.
So the coalition works like this. We have a website, www.crcbooks.org, where children can go and register. They will register to become a part of our coalition, and then they will come in and start to receive free haircuts once they start to book online at our online site. Once they start to do that, they start to come in and start to receiving a book per visit, right? So we do a book distribution program, right? That starts out with the book distribution, which we give out 2 books per month and 2 free haircuts per month, which is an equivalent to 24 free haircuts and 24 free books per year per child, right? And if we break that down, we're doing over $480 worth of free haircuts per year, and over $360 or something like that, $300 a year in books that we're giving to each child. That is a part of our program to help them build home libraries. Now that also goes along with the mentorship program, right? Where we're mentoring the kids. In the process, we also provide them with events. So we have different types of parties to celebrate them for their achievements and things like that. And then we have the financial literacy piece where I just explained, where we have them open accounts and take those funds and deposit those funds into an account. And then they're able to use those funds when they graduate high school. So that is the initial program that we have right now, and that we're actually been doing for I've been doing this program for over 7 years now, 8 years, right? And we're at a point to where our board is ramping up. We're at a point to where we're getting a lot of feedback from our community, and partnerships are coming in left and right, really fast. And growing the program is happening, really like overnight. But the thing is, we just have to make sure that we have everything in order for the expansion, because we are trying to expand. Again, we're trying to get more barbers that are like-minded on board with this program and to see the value in the program. We're also in the process of creating our training manual for the barbers, because we have a training that we're going to set forth for each barber that wants to be a part of the program and the coalition. And then we're moving into other areas of the nonprofit. We have some other areas that we want to also tackle, not only the literacy crisis, but there are a few more crises that we want to address with our nonprofit organization. But right now we want to really focus on the book distribution, building our base, our foundation of barbers. Because what I do is I also pay our barbers, right? Our barbers are our stewards, right? They steward our program. They, help us to get more books in children's hands, right? And they're going to be our catalyst in the movement of this program, because if we don't have the barbers, we don't have a program. So the goal is to get as many barbers, like I was saying, on board to help me to push this agenda. In the state of Florida, we have a governor that has banned banned Black books, Governor DeSantis. So you were speaking about the school to prison pipeline. That was also a part of the research that we did as to why we started the literacy program, and we didn't start a sports program, and we didn't start any other type of program. We wanted to do something that we realized would actually impact the lives of the children that we connected with in years to come, right? We're not really looking for instant gratification here. right? Which doesn't make this a popular program because you have to actually spend money or time, right, with these children. And a lot of times when we look at the overall aspect of the village and the parenting and different things like that, right, parent commitment, parent dedication, parent involvement, and those things, right, that these children are, you know, these parents are lacking in those areas, right? So having a barber in your area that's willing to pour into your child as a mentor is very important, is very impactful, and it's a part of that village mentality that we always talked about growing up, right? Having others that will help, influence your children in the right way, right? Somebody that's going to be a positive influence. So this program is all of that, right? We're all of that and above. We're trying to, again, expand to get more brothers that are like-minded. And again, with this program, again, we're not looking for, I would say, our name to be everywhere in lights. We're looking to do the work behind the scenes, basically. And again, it's not all about any of the, doing the actual interviews and things like that. It's more so about spreading the word, getting the message out there. Again, making sure that the right people hear the right things, right? The right messages being relayed, and different things like that. So those are what's important to me, right? Understanding that, barbers have been here since the beginning of time, right? Helping with different things in the community. We've always had a stake in the community as far as pillars in the community. And, it was just, again, in my spirit to pour into the children that I connected with and give them more than just a haircut.
Wow, Brother Brown, that's powerful. And allow me to just say, I'm listening to you very closely. So is my, and man, the thumbs are going crazy. I'm happy about that. The thumbs and the hearts are going crazy over here. And I love that, guys. I thank you guys. Listen, I wish you could see them, but listen, I just want to address two things quickly that you just said. One, never apologize for doing what you, even though you're not, never apologize for doing what you do. People that start to question a person's motive for doing good and start to question whether or not they're doing it for the money, etc. Those individuals, sadly, are individuals that are just negaholics. Because if you were to ask any one of them this very day, would you like to be appreciated for things that you offer? Their answer would ultimately be yes. It doesn't mean, and I know you know this, it doesn't mean that you are doing it because you are looking for appreciation. You're doing it because it's a passion and it's something that people need. And I say that just to segue onto the other part, is there are funds out there for everything. So when you go to the gas station, Brother Brown, I guarantee you, when that pump stops rolling, they're going to expect a certain amount out of your pocket. And so when people start talking crazy about funds and think that people shouldn't be compensated for what they do, just dismiss that foolishness. Take it from me. When you go to the grocery store and when you're at that cash register and they give you a ticket, they expect their money. They don't care how great you are, what kind of person what you do in the neighborhood. They want their money. So yes, all of the alcoholics that worry about whether you are making a dime or not, be damned with them. I'm saying it for you. Be damned with them, because we know the impact that the things that you do make in our community with Black and brown children. And you mentioned DeSantis. I have to say very nicely, if there's a nice way to say it, DeSantis doesn't even know who he is. He's a brown person. He doesn't even have enough intelligence to understand that he's being used for the purpose of the supremacists. And he really thinks they like him. And he's the sad one. So for him to go trying to ban books and things like that, as the old people used to tell me, I'm the old guy now, people like them, you dismiss them. You don't even waste a lot of energy on them because they don't even know who they are. So the work
Right.
that you're doing, my brother, you ought to be commended. The Lord Corporation should be jumping on board left and right, because I guarantee you, I have to say this to you, Brother Brown, from all the things you're sharing, you know as well as I, if you do one bad thing, they'll talk about it to your grave.
Yes, sir.
But you can do 1,000 good things and they will mumble it if
Yeah.
they utter it at all. So
Yes.
take it from this old man talking to you tonight. Be damned with them
Yes,
because,
sir.
and they all know, if you do one bad thing and they know about it, oh man, I remember when. Well, I'm sure people never take time to understand the person that was in the situation. Remember when? And
That's
they
right.
remember better than you because they were the ones in the situation.
Yes, sir.
So, Brother Brown, what you are doing with the literacy program, what you are doing with the entrepreneur situation, and I'm sure moms appreciate it, the young men appreciate it, etc. And allow me briefly, because I don't want to keep you all night, to give you a quick story. Having always been, quote, one of the better athletes, I always liked the girls, but my English teacher, I was pretty decent at it, and she wanted me to write poetry and that type stuff. So I'm old school. Man, boys didn't write poetry. That wasn't cool. But I
Yeah.
was good at it.
Yeah.
So technically I dumbed myself down and reluctant about writing the poetry because I don't want people to say, oh man, well, and so it's sad how we damage our children's minds and how we damage our own minds when it comes to literacy. So
Yes.
that's why I'm saying to you, my young brother, what you're doing is fantastic. I would like to donate some books to you as well, man. I'm a writer, a published writer. Actually, I've written several books. I'd like to donate some books to you called Mothers in Their Spin. I did a survey with over 400 moms from, quote, welfare moms all the way to moms with PhDs, and as the old black people used to call it, with the big jobs. And their ideas are so similar. If you did not know, quote, it was from a welfare mom, unquote, or if you did not know, quote, it was from a PhD with a six-figure job, unquote, you wouldn't even know the difference. And it talks about mothers and their relationship with their sons, etc. It's not a book to teach anybody anything. It's just a book that talks about comparisons and the effects that our moms have on us and we have on them, etc. And within that book, brother, there's also a segment called Dad's in the House, but he's not home. We got to call the dads out, man.
Yeah.
It's not always about kids not having the dad there. He sleep under the same roof, but he ain't there. So,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm excited to talk to you, my brother. Listen, last thing, I talk to us a little bit about the class that you teach. Now I know tonight you were teaching as well, and so you're working with the academic aspect. Talk to us a little bit about that, please.
So what I do in the evening is I teach a barbering class in the evening at a local college, a trade college, that I was also a graduate from. That's where I also went and actually finished up my plumbing, right? So I went there. It's called Pinellas Technical College, a great college that, offers a lot of trades and technical skills that people can actually benefit from if they decide they want to go to a technical college instead of a institutional college. I teach the barbering program in the evening time, and what I do is, basically teach them everything from barbering, man, from A to Z. And I also talk to them about the importance of giving back and the impact that I provide in our community and how much that's needed from barbers in our community. And yeah, just my message, I'm able to spread my message to the barbers in the school. It's a great opportunity for me to have a pipeline of barbers that come out of the school to help to regurgitate the literacy component when they go into the barbershops in the community.
Fantastic. Well, brother, I know it's been a long day for you. If you could do two things for us, if you
Yes,
have a
sir.
final word you'd like to leave us with, and if you can tell people how they can donate books or any other thing that they may can donate and where to send those, and we'll start wrapping this thing up.
All right. What I would like to tell people is I know a lot of us are focused on elections. A lot of us are focused on, outside influences and different types of news right now. You have the P. Diddy stuff going on. You have the Trump, Kamala Harris stuff going on, right? I want us to really sit and think about this, right? Your listeners and viewers, right? I want us to think about our young sons that we actually have to look at every day, and think about them growing up into the man that you want them to be, and what that's going to look like in the time that it's going to take for them to get there. Now, in the process of you doing that, ask yourself, are you pouring into them as much as you can, right? Are you sacrificing some of your time to actually sit down and learn more about your children than you are about friends, outside influences, other things going on in the world? Have you really sat down and had conversations with your children about reading, about the disparities and the wealth gaps in our community, right? About home ownership for young Black and brown boys, because once they graduate high school, where do they go, right? If they're not going to college, they're probably staying home with mom, right? So again, we have to think about who actually is influencing our children and our young Black and brown boys, right, to date our young daughters, right? And what does that look like? And how are you molding them to be an all-around man, right? Because again, my program helps to help to fill some of those voids and some of those pieces in single family households, right? But we also ask dads to also come into our shop and grab books. So we have a dad's program called the Dad's Treasure Chest, where we have dads who even come patronize our barbershop that is able to come and get a book to just take home and read to their children. So when we talk about the household, I'm talking about the mother and the father. And if the father isn't there, the mother has the coaches or the barbers or the counselors, right? So we want to make sure that we're using these pieces to help raise our children to the way that we want them to be. But we have to make sure that in our daily lives at home, we're making sure that our children read at least 20 to 30 minutes a day. Right? I don't care how old they are. I don't care if they're 5, you need to read to them. They need to be reading something. They need to be reading with you. You need to be reading with them. They need to be following along with the words and repeating you. Same thing that happens in the shop. That's what I have my kids that's 5 and 4 and 3 do. Follow along with me with their finger, with the words in the book, right? If they're 11, if they're 10, if they're 12, they're not too cool to read to you, right? Make them read to you. Then you will actually see what you need to help them work on at home. 14, 15, 16, they need to be reading to you at home. I don't care how cool they have to, think they are, or what party or what sport that they play. They need to be making sure, you need to be making sure that they can comprehend and have critical thinking skills when they're out here in the public. All right. That's the final word for me. And if you guys want to donate or help support the Competitive Readers Coalition, you can support by going to crcbooks.org, right? You can support by going to our website, and you can mail us anything from a check or books to this address, 2325 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33713, right? So those are the things that you guys could take away from me tonight. Mr. Lars, I appreciate you for inviting me on your show tonight. I thank you so much for everything that you've done and everything that you do. Brother, you have my respect, and I just want to again honor you for having me on tonight.
Well, listen, the pleasure is certainly all mine, Brother Antonio Brown, because I honor you, sir. I'm telling you, I'm saying it to the world, I'm a proud old man to see a young brother stepping up to the plate, doing positive things, etc., because it's certainly going to and is enriching the lives of our people in total.
Yes, sir.
And the way you guys share with young people. So listen, Our audience, as always, we thank you for coming. This is Melvin Casey Large, and Nobody Asked Me guy. And we want to ask we have some new people here, Brother Brown. We want to ask all of our people to go to the Nobody Asked Me guy show via YouTube and like and subscribe. And we do not charge anything for you to subscribe. So guys, go and help us out. Tell a friend. And we will be sending information out for those of you that would like to contact us, and go to the Nobody Asked Me guy show at gmail.com. The Nobody Asked Me guy show at gmail.com. So listen, Brother Brown, have a great and blessed evening. And we're so happy that you're here, my brother. And I promise you, I will be in contact with you again.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Large. You have a great evening.
You too, sir. Have a good night.